Hey friends, welcome to Make Anything. It's Devin here, and for a new day, we've got a new number. In this video, I want to share this number 5 that I just finished up using a really cool new technique. And while the technique is new, maybe you're familiar with the pattern. This was actually inspired by those colorblind tests where you have all these different sized circles clustered together with slightly different colors, and the goal with those is to decipher the number within the texture. For this number, it's quite the opposite, where we have the texture within the number, but that's about as far as it goes. There's no deep explanation to it. I just really think this is a cool texture and pattern, and I really wanted to play around with having the varying height, size, and color all together to make this really spectacular number. So, I think I pulled it off pretty well, and today I'm going to show you exactly what went into making this number 5. So, let's get right to it. Cool. The process of building this number 5 starts very similar to some of the other numbers that I've already documented on this channel, like the layered number 3. But basically it consists of cutting out several layers of plywood and doing a lot of sanding and filling and gluing and clamping and priming and painting and sanding again. Although this number really only needs 2 layers, the backdrop, and then we're gonna have a 1-inch border around the entire number. It's ½ an inch tall, and that's gonna help contain the dowels. It takes a whole lot of time and patience, but there's not a lot more that I can add to that part of the build in this video, so if you really wanna see all the details, check out the number 3 video. But let's get to the dowels. In order to fill up this number 5, I needed a whole bunch of little sections of wooden dowel. And I found the easiest way for me to accomplish that was by cutting the dowels on my table saw using this sled. I'm using poplar dowels that I purchased at 4 to 6 foot lengths, and the idea was to cut those in half over and over again until I had a whole bunch of sections that were about 1 to 1.5 inches in length. Now, cutting little tiny pieces of wood like that on a table saw can be kind of sketchy, so I was using this gripper, which basically let me get my hands out of the way while holding both sides of the dowels all the way down to those short lengths. I penciled in a little 1-inch mark on the left side of this sled, that way I could kind of eyeball the lengths of these dowels as I was cutting them, but I didn't want to actually use a stop or anything that would make the cuts super accurate because I actually want all the heights to be slightly varying in this design. I also wanted a good variety of diameters of the dowels, so I purchased all the different sizes that I could find, and I was able to cut most of those on the table saw up to about the 1.5-inch diameter dowels. At that point, the blade was sticking out pretty high, and I would have cut my sled in half if I kept going. Only for the 2-inch dowels did I switch to the miter saw. It gives me a lot more control, but I'm also cutting one piece at a time. Luckily, I don't need as many of these 2-inch pieces, so that was all fine. Alright, so by now I've got hundreds of these little sections of wooden dowel, and I got relatively clean cuts, but they definitely still needed sanding. At first, I was asking Natalie to sand every single piece for me, but it didn't take long for me to realize that's borderline girlfriend abuse. So I switched to a much more reasonable solution with this kind of jerry-rigged contraption using an orbital sander clamped down to my workbench, and then I used this old 3D print to contain the dowels and hold them above that orbital sander as it ran for a few seconds. This method was actually surprisingly effective. I was able to sand dozens of dowels at a time, and it only took about 30 seconds to a minute per batch to sand them down to an acceptable level. So it wasn't long before I had all of these dowels, and they were actually cut for several numbers. So to figure out exactly how many we needed for this first number, we did a quick test run filling in the whole number with these unpainted dowels just to see how many it took. And honestly, it looked pretty good at this point. It was tempting just to leave it as is, but our client wanted a lot of color. So the next step was to paint the ends of each and every dowel, and for that we just used standard indoor paints in a range of vibrant, warm colors. As you can see, we started by soaking these foam brushes with paint and just pressing the dowels against them, but eventually we realized it's just as easy to paint one end of the dowel using a paintbrush. So as Natalie slaved away painting all of those dowels, I was completing the work on the actual number 5. sanding down this coat of filler primer to 220 grit, and then I painted that using the darkest of our colors, this nice red-orange. Once everything was painted, it was time for the big, exciting, and somewhat anxious moment of gluing in all of these dowels. The way we decided to go about this was by starting at one end of the 5 and working our way across the number, doing sections of maybe 6 to 12 inches at a time. I'm just using standard wood glue spread out with a spatula, and I'm using wood glue because of course we're gluing wooden dowels to a wooden number, but it's also nice because it had a bit of working time, so we were able to arrange the dowels and move things around until it looked okay. And that's basically how we were doing this, just kind of randomly grabbing dowels, trying to get a good variety of colors, sizes, and shapes next to each other. But there wasn't really a plan going into it. We kind of just went with the flow. Luckily that ended up working pretty well, and we got a really nice random looking fill within this number. Once that wood glue is all nice and dried up, the last thing we have to do is give this number our protective coat. So I brought the number outside, dusted it off, and gave it several coatings of gloss polyurethane spray. And there's a lot of texture here, a lot of little cracks and crevices, so I really caked it on, and it ended up working really nicely. Although it turns out flies are strangely attracted to this spray when it's wet, so I had to take some interesting measures to keep them away. That aside, everything still worked out, and after a few days of drying, our number is complete. Again, I'm really happy with the randomness and variation that I was able to get inside of this number, although it would have been nice to have a little bit more working time when placing all those dowels to really make sure every single little gap was filled. And of course, you always want smaller and smaller dowels to fill the space between the other dowels. Here we are using the technique for a second number, and this time we did buy some slightly smaller dowels, and I also used thicker coats of that polyurethane spray, so this one ended up really nice and shiny. Alright folks, there we have it, yet another number checked off our list on this giant numbers project. And I've got to say, it's one of the best yet. I'm really excited about this technique. I think it came out looking super cool, and I'd love to keep exploring and seeing where I can take it beyond the numbers actually. I think it would be cool to maybe bring this into a three-dimensional shape, maybe swap out the wood dowels with acrylic, maybe suspend them within epoxy. I don't know, there's a lot of really crazy directions that we could take this idea. If you have any ideas of how we can upgrade this technique, let me know in the comments. I'm always interested in your thoughts. And if you want to see where this goes, make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, like the video, all that good stuff. But that's it for today. So until next time, I'm Devin, this is Make Anything, and as always, stay inspired.